Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison.
Hi, this is William Shatner.
It is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take. It's your buddy. It's your buddy Shapiro back at you. Sharp and Shapiro, the Vegas Take on a Thursday, and we got a lot to get to. As we always do on this show, we're always jam-packed. Today, this morning, is no different. Coming up in hour number 2, Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun. God, the NFL season is right around the corner, literally. So Miles Simmons, who is the RJ reporter for the Raiders, will be joining us in hour number 3. Also, hour number 3, I love this guy, Bernie Fratto, nationally syndicated sports talk show host. Going to preview some college football games along with J.D. Sharp, our professional sports handicapper here in hour number 3. I know J.D. has been chomping at the bits to do this. Well, he's going to get his opportunity to do it today and talk a little UNLV football, right? I mean, they're not playing a powerhouse on Saturday, Southern Utah, but we will preview the UNLV season as well.
It will be difficult for me to get excited about this game against Southern Utah. Yeah. Well, I will be honest with you.
You should also be excited to the fact that you might be doing a few segments by yourself today. I've made a bunch of bathroom visits this morning. I don't want to go into graphic detail, but I went to a buffet last night with my family, and let's just say some of the food is not sitting well in my stomach right now. So I'm saying 50-50. You might be doing a few segments by yourself today, and it's a bad beat for Beasley Broadcasting, and I will tell you why, because I think I use about $20 of toilet paper per month, and I cost this company a lot of money on toilet paper. I know they're not happy about that. I apologize. But anyway.
Well, there have been several complaints.
Yes. Well, anyway, I want to get right to this
and
because
they are warranted.
Donald Trump has been going nuts on Twitter the last 24 hours. Even by his standards, he's been going crazy. Let me explain, because this is just, it's unbelievable. So, as you know, Hurricane Dorian is coming, okay? This is bad news. This is bad news for that part of the world. And Trump has said time and time again that he's the best thing to ever happen to Puerto Rico. Well, 3,000 Americans died in his watch, if you weren't aware, Mr. President. Trump said, we are tracking closely Tropical Storm Dorian as it heads, as usual, to Puerto Rico. He also went on to say, FEMA and all others are ready and will do a great job when they do. Let them know it and give them a big thank you, not like last time. Then he went after the mayor of San Juan. So this is a really good time, by the way, to go after Puerto Rico. Really good time to do it. The president followed up a couple hours later, writing on Twitter, Puerto Rico is one of the most corrupt places on earth. Their political system is broken and their politicians are either incompetent or corrupt. Interesting, Mr. President, how now you want to go after people that are corrupt. How about the people in your own administration that have either gone to jail or lied to the FBI? Doesn't really want to talk about that, though, does he? He went on to say Congress approved billions of dollars last time, more than any place else has ever gotten. And it is, crooked polls, no good. And by the way, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to Puerto Rico. So, of course, Ocasio-Cortez responded and said 3,000 Americans died on your watch. You're not the best thing to happen to anybody but yourself, and even that's questionable. I don't always agree with Ocasio-Cortez, but I think I'm going to agree with her on this one. And by the way, as I mentioned, and as Ocasio-Cortez accurately mentioned, yes, 3,000 Americans died, and a study by the government said that the inadequate preparedness and personal training for crisis and emergency risk communication, combined with numerous barriers to accurately, timely information and factors that increased rumor generation, ultimately decreased and was part of the reason why 3,000 people died. So it gets worse. It gets worse here. The president said, when I left the island after the storm had hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. As time went by, it did not go up by much. Then, a long time later, they started to report really large numbers, like 3,000. This was done by the Democrats in order to make me look as bad as possible when I was successfully raising billions of dollars to help rebuild Puerto Rico. If a person died for any reason like old age, just add them to the list. No, Mr. President, that is not factually accurate. You are lying. 6 to 18 people did not die. Tons of reports out there, and accurate reports are saying close to 3,000 people around that number died. And the president is blaming Democrats for the deaths. And the president is blaming the media and left-wing media for, putting that death toll way up there. He's claiming 6 to 18 people died when the number is closer to 3,000 people. It is disgusting, and the president uses this time in the last 24 hours when Puerto Rico could be facing another disaster as a hurricane comes to attack the mayor and to attack, the people of Puerto Rico, the politicians of Puerto Rico at the worst possible time because he knows it makes him look bad. And by the way, that's not the people in Puerto Rico are not the only people that the president is going after. He also is going after Fox News. So the president, bipartisan, I guess you could say. He says Fox isn't working for us anymore. Apparently the president is not happy. By the way, I didn't know that Fox News worked for the president. I mean, I guess if you watch Fox News on TV and you watch certain shows like Tucker Carlson or Laura the Witch Ingram, you would agree they probably do work for the president. President Trump apparently not happy with Fox News, saying that, Fox isn't working for us anymore. While America's Newsroom aired on the network in the tweets, the president did not hide his displeasure with some of Fox's 2020 election coverage. He suggested the whole network should just go left. So the one network that, seems to support many of the things he does, now he's going after them as well. And should we be surprised? No, I don't think we should. As soon as one person on that network goes after the president. And by the way, people that have been staunch supporters of President Trump are now saying, okay, enough's enough. Britt Hume, who, by the way, I think has the personality of a dead ant on television, but that's another story for another show. Britt Hume, after the president, made the tweet about Fox News, Hume went on Fox News and then went on his Twitter page and said, Fox News isn't supposed to work for you, Mr. President. By the way, Hume is actually right. The Trump continuing to go after Fox News says terrible considering that Fox couldn't even land a debate. The Dems giving them nothing. This is the last 24 hours. Going after Puerto Rico, lying. 6 to 18 deaths? No, Mr. President. It was closer to 3,000. And you bear part of that responsibility. And now we know what he's doing with FEMA. He's taking money out of FEMA, putting it towards the borders. He doesn't want to talk about that, though. He'd rather attack Fox News. He went after Juan Williams as well. This is what the president is doing over the course of the last 24 hours. This is how he is spending his time. And I got to tell you something. Some of his cronies, supporters, the ones who go on television like the Kellyanne Conways of the world that say the president can do no harm. Kayleigh McEnany, who I can't stand, who in my opinion has zero credibility. Well, she was on with Chris Cuomo last night on CNN. She is a contributor to CNN, and she is a national press secretary for the Trump 2020 campaign. Again, never held the president accountable for anything. So she's on with Chris Cuomo yesterday, and things got pretty heated. So first, she's asked, if the president has ever lied to the American people. Now, anybody who is not biased, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or hater, you will admit, I just said it right there. Trump is claiming that under 20 people died in Puerto Rico when the number was close to 3,000. It's a blatant lie. He's blaming the Democrats for those numbers. It is a lie.
But where does that number come from, the 3,000?
Several different organizations, and I could bring that up for you, that are very credible organizations that have no political affiliation, both in America and in that area as well, have pointed to around 3,000 deaths
due to
the hurricane
last year.
Horrible conditions. They weren't ready for it. People lost their lives. It's terrible. It's tragedy. And then Trump is making it all about him, blaming Democrats for why that number is so high. It's outrageous. So anyway.
That number does seem pretty high for a hurricane, considering hurricanes happen every single year all over the world.
It's extremely high. And you know what? They weren't prepared for it.
It seems about right for a tsunami, perhaps, but not a hurricane.
Well,
so I can understand where he's coming from there. I just want to know, how are those deaths validated?
Wait, what do you mean?
Who reported them?
What do you mean you can understand where he's coming from?
3,000 deaths is a lot for a hurricane.
Well, yeah, I agree. It's a tragedy. It's horrible.
Historically.
I agree. It's horrible. But the reason why I bring up Chris Cuomo and Kayleigh McEnany, I want to play this for you because Cuomo asked her point blank, Again, this is a woman with no credibility. Asked her point blank, has the president ever lied?
Kayleigh McEnany, do you believe this president has ever lied to the American people?
No, I don't believe the president has lied. I believe the fake news media. Do you believe the fake news media
right
has
out of my head.
Do you believe the fake news media has
Interview's
lied?
over, Kayleigh. Please, if you can't admit that this president has lied to the American people, you will not have credibility with the audience.
Media lies.
Well, first of all, Cuomo's right. The president has lied all the time. And I'm not making the case that politicians in the past have never lied. But for her to go on national television, I guess we shouldn't be surprised and say, no, the president has never lied. The fake media lies. She is a complete imbecile. She is an idiot.
And I agree that is a little ridiculous, but it's even more ridiculous to end an interview as a host. That is totally unprofessional.
It wasn't completely ended.
And it shows that he is only looking to talk to someone who has the same interest as his audience.
No, that's completely not true. I don't know why you would make that statement. That's not true. I watch Cuomo every night. He has Republicans on every single day. That's not true, JD. JD, hello. I watch CNN every night. That's not true.
He should have let her finish the interview. He shouldn't have just ended the interview right there.
In fact, I would make the argument he has more Republicans on his show than Democrats. He's not afraid of having. In fact, he does it every day. And I think Cuomo is more fair than a lot of other people on that network. So I'm respectfully disagree with you. As far as she is concerned, he did let her continue. It was a 10-minute segment, and I'm getting to that. But this goes on, and now Cuomo defends himself when she accuses him of something. Play that.
You lie about everything he says and take him out of context.
I have
and the people are
never
frustrated.
lied about this president in my life. You may not like what I say. That doesn't make it a lie. He lies all the time, and you know it.
So we'll take some phone calls on this. I will absolutely take Cuomo's side on this one. McEnany is a complete imbecile for the president. The number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, GCI Guys Hotline, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 257-5396. Let's start off with Mike. Mike, what's going on?
What's up, Mike?
Morning, gents.
Morning, Mike. What's on your mind?
I might be jumping into this a little late, but unless I miss something, we're laying the deaths in Puerto Rico to the tune of 2,000 or 3,000 on President Trump. Did I hear that correctly?
I'm not blaming Trump 100%. I didn't say that.
Ocasio-Cortez is, though.
Well, I mean, the president, he's the president of the United States. They certainly weren't ready. I read you the statement. There were a lot of mistakes made. Do I put all the blame on the president? Absolutely not. But I think you have to put partial blame on the president. Certainly they were not ready.
Well, they're not a state. Am I wrong or right?
The president is responsible for helping in that relief, and the president is partially responsible. He is the commander-in-chief. He is responsible for making sure they get what they need and they are prepared. And all the reports that came out in the investigations is that they were not prepared. And the president has made it about himself in the last 24 hours. While another hurricane is on the way, the president is claiming that 7 to 14 people he believes died in Puerto Rico due to the hurricane, which is nonsense.
So do we, and I'm asking just out of pure curiosity, do we lay any blame on the government of Puerto Rico
Absolutely.
for not being prepared?
Absolutely, 150%. And I have never said otherwise. There's a lot of responsibility to go around. But you know what? The people in the government of Puerto Rico right now, they're not attacking their citizens. They're not attacking politicians. The people of Puerto Rico are not doing that. But the president decides to do that. And why does he do that, Mike? He does that because it's all about himself. He wants to lie to make himself look better. He wants to go on the attack and attack people in Puerto Rico because it makes him look better. And, Mike, I just think it's a disgrace. What we should be doing is we should be thinking about what can we do to help these people to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Not, to say that Democrats are raising the death toll. And it's so inappropriate. And now is the worst time, Mike. That's the only point I'm trying to make. And I appreciate the call, Mike. Thank you very much. Again, that number, 257-5396. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on?
Well, since we're talking about lying, how about the lie that you keep perpetuating almost every day, Brian?
And what's that?
And that's the one in the El Paso hospital where you keep saying that the president
What are you talking about?
His crowd size when these poor people are mourning. Now, you've already stated on this show.
So I'm talking about. Hold on a second. I'm talking about the hurricane. We're talking about Puerto Rico. Excuse me, Brian. Let me finish. I'm talking about the hurricane. No, because what you're saying is ridiculous. It's completely off topic, and you're bringing up something.
Yes, we're not
talking about El Paso. Do you want to talk about El Paso another time? Call in and talk about El Paso another time.
What's the matter, Brian? Can't you take it?
Okay, fine. You want me to respond? Okay, if you're going to be an idiot and call in and bring up something else, Brian, then I will respond to you. The president was in the hospital. Okay, he was talking to victims and their families, and during that time, there's a video that came. Excuse me, I'm answering your question. Let me finish. Excuse me, let me finish.
He was talking to first responders.
Let me finish.
Workers.
Let me finish. He was in the hospital. Now, whether he was talking to first responders or victims, the bottom line is he is in the hospital talking about Beto O'Rourke, being negative, talking politics about his crowd size and the crowd size of Beto O'Rourke. Boom. Goodbye. Goodbye. You're the liar. Have a nice day. I'm going to take some real phone calls from people that actually want to talk about the task at hand. 3,000 people.
Thanks for the call, Brian.
3,000 people in Puerto Rico died, and you want to bring up a comment that I made about his hospital visit to El Paso, which was a disgrace.
It is a little ridiculous to put that blame on President Trump for people, whatever the number is. And I think 3,000 does seem pretty high. But whatever that number is, putting the blame on Trump, it's kind of the same thing with the El Paso shooting. There's a number of reasons why people died. And obviously the hurricane is the largest reason, but putting President Trump as one of the top 5 or 6 reasons is completely ridiculous.
Where did I say that?
And that's what Ocasio-Cortez is doing.
Where did I say
You're
that?
saying that he's lying about.
Yes, absolutely.
He's accusing the Democratic media or the left-wing media of creating this toll.
No proof
the
of
toll
that.
Does seem pretty high.
There's no proof of that.
Where's the proof of the toll?
It wasn't 7 to 14 people.
But where's the proof of the toll?
I will give you the organizations that came up with that number, but I can tell you there are organizations in Puerto Rico, okay, that came up with those numbers.
And who funds those organizations?
I'll give you that information,
okay.
But if you're going to blame Democrats for that, it's completely absurd. 7 to 14 people did not die. I mean, I've seen interviews on TV of hundreds of different families that lost loved ones. Hundreds. And it's thousands.
Well, and TV never lies. TV always tells the truth, so that's perfect.
So you think they're actors? You think there are actors that are crying on TV?
I'm not suggesting that they're actors.
You just did suggest that.
I'm saying TV never lies. It always tells the truth.
So you are suggesting...
You should believe 100% of what you see on TV always.
So you are suggesting...
I know I do.
So you are suggesting that the families that are claiming they lost loved ones, that are crying and emotional, are lying in their staged actors.
I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm saying TV never lies. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're referencing there. I can tell you right now that those hundreds and hundreds of families that I've seen that have done interviews are not lying. Okay, they lost loved ones. They've shown their homes that didn't have electricity and it was flooded and they had nowhere to go and they didn't get any help. Those are not actors. 257-5396. Let's go to Carl. Carl, what's going on?
What's up, Carl?
Hey, good. How you doing, buddies? Listen, the coroner's reports came out of Puerto Rico. There were somewhere around 700 bodies. The coroner's reports, those come from the government coroner's reports,
right.
Not 7 or 14.
Right.
And Trump just sent a tweet saying you're corrupt. The whole government here is corrupt, but I'm the best friend you ever had.
That's ridiculous. And by the way, Carl, those are bodies that were found. We're not even talking about the bodies that were never found, people that were never recovered.
They said about 30 to 40 people died in hospitals because their ventilators went off.
Ugh. It's tragedy. It's terrible.
Yeah. And also, the final thing is that Cuomo, Michaela, what the hell her name is, the blonde liar.
McEnany, yeah.
McEnany, yeah. I mean, he says to her, has the president ever lied? You notice, I'm trained to watch people's reactions to things.
Yeah.
You notice how you can see she doesn't know what to say, and she's lying about it.
Well, yeah,
she changes the subject.
Of course, she's going to be on the president's campaign trail 2020. She cannot say. It's just like, Dana Loesch with the NRA, who we'll get to next segment. By the way, Carl, thank you for the call. We appreciate that. These people are paid to never say one negative thing about the president. Kellyanne Conway is no different. It is an absolute joke. Let's take a quick phone call to Pete. Pete, what's going on?
Here's the real problem. Puerto Rico is way out there in the middle of the ocean out there, okay? And the question is, why are so many Americans living out there on that damn island? For what?
I have no idea.
All I can say is Puerto Rican women are hot.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Appreciate that.
Pete,
it's a great call.
Outstanding input, and I'm not going to disagree with you.
We're talking about 3,000 people that have died in Puerto Rico.
The infrastructure there is really, really bad, and the reason is because it is so hard to get to.
Yeah. All right, well, we got to take a quick break, and then we'll be back. We'll take some more of your phone calls at 257-5396. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We do have a few more comments on Cuomo's show by, as our last caller said, Miss Blondie McEnany. We'll get to that when we come back. You're listening to The Vegas Take.